Coach, thanks for joining us on the call today. If you would just give us an overview of how your spring went and what your priorities and focus would be for the rest of the off-season.
Well, I mean, we're obviously focusing on right now a little bit of a break. Our guys got to finish up school and class here this week and through finals, and we've got a high standard. The last 2 semesters we've been above a 3.0, so they got to focus and finish on that. Spring obviously was good. We ended up with 2 serious injuries that, with a broken leg and a blown out knee, but other than that, we had a good scrimmage. I mean, we had 140 some plays of live football in our so to speak spring game, and came out with developing a lot of things, seeing a lot of things from guys injury free. So that's what you're most excited about, our development up front on the offensive line. And the ability to at least have 8-9 guys up there is probably where the biggest difference is in our team and our program from the year we walked in here to right now. So when we say we're an offensive line driven program, that's a great place to start. So I feel good about that. Still got to develop some things we lost this last year, with our 2 inside guys defensively. So that's going to be a big push and focus for us throughout this entire off season, going into fall and the season next year.
Take questions for Coach Luke Fickell, please. Star 1 on your telephone keypad will put you in the queue, and the operator will introduce you.
And next will be Dan Pertor with the WakeUpCallDT.com.
Hi, Coach. How you doing today?
Great. And you, Dan?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. Obviously, a couple seasons in Cincinnati. You came in, and a 4-8 season was the first year, and then last season a flip to 11-2. Just what you can say about going into this spring with that early success since you've been at Cincinnati, and just what that's done to kind of build up the veterans that you have and the guys that you brought in.
Well, you can definitely feel the energy and the momentum from year 1 to year 3 in the springs, and a lot of it obviously has to do with the season we had, the finish we had. It really, really helps. I mean, in everything you do. I mean, they're going to work hard. Guys are going to work hard whether they're coaches or not, but when you have some success and you can see the fruits, a little bit of the labor, there's definitely a different attitude about things. And so we want to be able to build off of that and throughout the entire spring. But it was definitely a different spring for us. The first 2 springs you had no bowl games, so you were way behind in a lot of the things that you're doing. And in our 3rd spring, not only is it the 3rd spring where guys are better comfortable with the systems and the expectations, but also you had 14 practices for a bowl game that make you a little bit different even with the youth of your team. So it was good. The energy was probably the biggest difference. Not just mean energy every day, but just the excitement because whether they're coaches or players, they're seeing some of the successes for the work that they're putting in.
And just what you can say about that, the extension of the season to be in a bowl game. I mean, there's so many different bowl games around the country, but essentially, it gives you that extra time with your team. It builds up your youth, your depth, and your future, and just, how that's kind of second to none as a coach to be able to have that time.
Well, there's got to be more rewards. The unique thing about football is guys are going to work 280 some days a year, working out and all the things they're doing for 12 guaranteed paydays. There's no sport like it. So some people would say, well, we should just have a playoff and get rid of a lot of these bowls. When in reality, it's so many more rewards to a lot of programs, teams, players. You talk about keeping the momentum and the energy in your program and having some fun, not so to speak, it's just fun, but I mean some rewards for the things that you do are invaluable, not to mention the amount of time you get to spend with your guys when you do have a bowl game, whether it's 10, 12, 14 practices. It helps the development of your young guys. It's just you don't get to play football as much, and that's what the game is today. So to be able to have those things, it really allows your program to, continue to grow.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And next will be Tom Shanahan with the Raleigh News and Observer.
Hi, Coach. I asked Dana Holgerson the same question, moving over from the Big 12 and then Charlie Strong, and then you have a long Big 10 background. Can you just kind of characterize this league and the game planning that goes on among coaches and the challenges, how it compares?
Well, I mean, you can go each and every year. I think it's obviously a great league. I mean, it doesn't get the credit it deserves. I mean, the talent in the throughout the entire league is unbelievable. I really do believe that. I mean, some people would say, and I would initially say, well, maybe there's a lack of some of the line that you might see in the Big Ten or the SEC with the D-line and O-line. But the reality is, I think in college football, there's a lack of development of offensive line, just with the systems and the schemes that so many people are using nowadays. But as a whole, I think you'd be misled if you didn't really take a hard look and see something different in this league and not just take it from the outside of what people perceive based on not being a part of the big boys. And actually, I fight with that all the time. Not to get off the subject, but I don't know who created the name Power 5, which we don't use in our program, so I don't say it. But why that was created when 6 years ago, it didn't matter if you were in the Mountain West or wherever. There was a call to BCS, and now that they went to a playoff, all of a sudden there's this term Power 5, and I don't know what it means. There's nothing different. I mean, everybody knows that there might be differences in how much money you have based on your payoffs from your league TV deals, but who cares? Why do we even distinguish ourselves in any way different? It doesn't matter. I mean, anybody can go to the playoffs if they win.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
Take one more for Coach Fickell, please.
And now come from Andrew Doty with Hero Sports.
Hey, Coach, I'm curious, as you go through the first year of the NCAA's new transfer portal, anything that you like or really dislike about it, anything you'd like to see change moving forward with the process?
Well, there's going to be a lot of changes. I mean, I don't know what they are, but there needs to be. And whatever that is, we just got to get a grasp on it because I don't think it's good. It's not good for college football. It's not good for kids. It's not good for the NCAA. I mean, there's just so many gray areas right now. We don't know what's going on. So I can't even begin to know exactly what they're going to do. But to be honest with you, it's a little bit of a storm right now, and the NCAA does not have a very good grasp and handle on how to do this thing right now. When, let's be honest, when they make the two most high-profile kids in the country immediately eligible for whatever their reason is, and then can tell some other kid that he's not. They're in some ways playing, I don't want to say God, but they're in some ways just dictating what they believe is the best thing without, true hardline, parameters. They can all say, well, we have parameters, but the reality is there aren't any parameters. And so it's really gray right now. And for us in college football, we gotta really get a grasp on this. And we've made the bed this year, so I think we need to kind of finish it out this year and not hold people back because it's going to be a black eye on college football. But moving forward, we got to do a really good job at figuring out what it is that we want.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Sure.
Coach, appreciate you giving us a few minutes
Thank
this
you.
morning. All right, best of luck through the
Appreciate
offseason. We'll see you in the court in July.